Hello my loves, Tony here from TL Yarn Crafts and welcome to this tutorial for the Camellia bag. Now why buy a project bag when you can make the perfect one? The Camellia bag is an adorable granny bucket bag made with 3 alternating colors of luxuriously soft cotton and silk yarn. Start with classic granny stitches worked in the round, then add finishing touches using simple Tunisian crochet techniques. And if you've never done Tunisian crochet before, don't you fret, honey, we don't need any special supplies and I'm going to be with you step by step. By the end of this video, you'll have your first Camellia bag and you'll be well on your way to your next one. Now, are you ready to dive into this project? Let's get started by talking materials. To make our Camellia bag, we're only going to need a few supplies, the most important of which being this lovely yarn. Today, we are using Hobbii's Friends Cotton Silk, which is a fabulous blend of cotton and silk. That cotton is going to make sure our bag stays nice and sturdy, and the silk is going to keep it silky smooth. It just feels so very nice. Now these are 50-gram balls of DK weight yarn, and you're going to need 1 of each, but you will need 2 skeins of whatever color you're planning to use for your handles. Since the handles use a good amount of fabric, we will need that second skein to make sure we get these nice long straps. Outside of the yarn, we're also going to need a 4mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle. Blocking supplies are optional. You don't necessarily need to block your bag. I did block mine and I found that it helped the handles lay a little bit flatter, but it is completely up to you. Now let's jump right in and make this gorgeous bag. Our bag begins here at the bottom. So we're going to be working from the bottom all the way up our bag until it's time to create the handles. So grab your A color, which is this lovely pink, and let's get started. We'll begin with our A color and we need to make a magic ring. You can do that however you like to. My favorite way is to hold that tail over the palm of your hand and then take the working yarn, the yarn that's coming from the ball, wrap it around your first finger 2 times. Then we're going to take this second loop, pull it over the first loop over the second and off the tip of your finger, just like that. We're going to pull those 2 tails. And now when I pull the short tail, you can see that I have an adjustable ring. Wonderful. So I'm going to flip that ring up so that the knot is at the top. And now I can insert my hook. From here, I need to chain 3. So pull up a loop first, and then we'll chain 3. Yarn over, pull through for 1. Here's 2 and 3. And that does count as our first double crochet of the round. Now we're going to put 2 more double crochet into this loop. There's 1 and 2. And now we'll need to chain 1 and we'll need to put 4 clusters. Now a cluster is just 3 double crochet followed by a chain 1. So we already have 1 cluster in here. We need to do that 4 more times. So that's 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, followed by a chain 1. So there's 1. Here's our second one. There's 1 double crochet, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. We need 5 total clusters when we finish. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've got them all. I'm going to drop my hook out, and then I can bring the tail through the center of my ring and then pull that tail, and we'll see that our ring closes up. I'm going to tuck that back behind because we're always going to be working with the front side of our work facing so we can put our tails in the back. So our next step is to join. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters. We've got our chain 1 here. I'm going to tighten this loop and we need to join. So the join consists of a few different steps. First things first, we need to join with a slip stitch in the top of this turning chain. The easiest way to find the top of your turning chain is to locate the top of the stitches before it. So here's a double crochet. So here's a double crochet here and these 2 loops at the top. So here's a double crochet right here and these 2 loops are the top of it. Here's the next double crochet and the 2 loops on top. So if we go back 1 set of these, that is the top of this turning chain. So I'm just going to insert my hook into the top of that turning chain, yarn over and pull through the remaining loop on my hook for a slip stitch. Now from here, we need to work over to this chain space. So first I'm going to insert my hook under both loops of that next stitch, yarn over, pull through for a slip stitch, insert into the next stitch for a slip stitch, and now we're going to insert into this space. At this point, we're going to drop the pink color and we're going to grab our next color, which is this lovely cream. We'll then yarn over and pull through to complete the slip stitch, and now we're set up to work with our cream. So whenever you see the join, it's that whole set of instructions. Joining to the top of the turning chain, slip stitch over those 2 stitches, and then slip stitch into the chain space and change color. Now let's move on to round 2. So here with our B color, we're going to start with a chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to put 2 double crochet into that same chain space where we joined. Just like that. We're going to follow that with a chain 1, and we're going to put another cluster here in this space. Remember that a cluster is 3 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, followed by a chain 1. So this first space has 2 clusters in it. From here on out, we're going to increase in each of our chain spaces around. Now an increase is simply 2 clusters in a space. So let's do that. Moving on to this next space here, let's put our first cluster. Remember that's 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, followed by a chain 1, 1, 2, 3, followed by a chain 1. So there's an increase in that space. Let's move on to the next space. 3 double crochet go here, 1, 2, 3, followed by a chain 1, 3 more double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Moving on to the next space, 2 clusters here, 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets followed by a chain 1. So those 3 double crochets followed by a chain 1 are a cluster. Now let's do another one. There's 1, 2, and 3, followed by a chain 1. One more chain space here. There's 1, here's 2, and 3, followed by a chain 1. One more cluster. 1, 2, and 3, followed by a chain 1. So after we've increased in each space around, we now need to join. So remember that our join starts with a slip stitch in the top of the chain 3, a slip stitch in each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into this next space, but we need to change color here. So insert into the space, I'm going to drop my cream, don't cut it, just leave it here. And now we'll grab our last color, which is this lovely yellow, leaving a tail long enough to weave in later. We're going to yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops, and now we're set up to work with our yellow color, and that completes round 2. At the end of round 2, we should have 10 total clusters, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's move on to round 3. Here in round 3, we're going to start with a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and place 2 double crochet into the same space as the join. From here, we need to chain 1, then we're going to increase in the next space, and then just place a cluster in the following space. Increase in the next space, cluster in the following space. Let's do a few together. So here is our next space. We're going to place an increase here. So that, remember, is 3 double crochet. There's 2 and 3, followed by a chain 1. And then we'll do that one more time in the same space. 2, 3, followed by a chain 1. So there's our increase, and we're going to follow that with just a cluster here. 1, 2, 3 double crochet, followed by a chain 1. And we're going to repeat that around, working an increase in the next space and just a regular cluster in the following space. So we're just going to repeat that around, and join me when you get to the end of the round and we'll finish up together. Once you've made your way around the circle, you should have 1 chain space left. So remember, the repeat was to increase in the next chain space and then just place a cluster in the following chain space. So now we have 1 chain space left. And here we're going to do an increase. So 3 double crochet go here. There's 2 and 3, followed by a chain 1. Remember, for our increase, we'll place 2 clusters in the same space. So here's the third, followed by a chain 1. And now we need to join. So for our join, make sure you complete all the steps. First, we'll slip stitch in the top of the turning chain, slip stitch in each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, and then slip stitch into the following chain space. So now we're going to drop our yellow, and remember that our other colors are still attached. So we're going to go and grab our pink, and we'll try and grab it in a way that doesn't leave all of our yarn tangled. You do the best that you can. So I'm just going to lift this up the back of my work and yarn over. Make sure you don't pull it too tight or this float here will cinch a bit, and we don't want that to happen. We want it to lay nice and flat on the back of our work. So we're going to be creating floats by carrying our yarns up, but it's going to prevent us from having to weave in a bunch of ends later. So from here, we're going to continue changing color each round. Let's move on to round 4. We start with a chain 3 and 2 double crochet in that space at the base of the chain. Now we follow that with a chain 1, and we're just going to place a cluster in each chain 1 space. So we're going to skip those 3 double crochet, find the next space, and place a cluster here. There's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Cluster in the next space. 2, 3 double crochets, followed by a chain 1. So no increasing in this round. There's 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1, next space is here, and that gets 3 double crochet followed by a chain 1. So continue that all the way around, and join me when you're ready for round 1, 2, 3, 5. I've just finished all of my clusters here for round 4. I'm going to join, so I'm going to find the top of that turning chain, slip stitch there, slip stitch in each of the next 2 double crochet. There's 2, and then slip stitch into the next space. From here, I need to change color to my cream. I'm going to find my cream yarn, get it as untangled as possible, and I'm just going to pull it up. Oh, one more tangle, there we go. And just pull it up and yarn over the hook with the cream, making sure I don't pull it too tight so it can lay nice and flat on the back of my work. So I'm just going to have a line of floats kind of going up each other. Okay, and from here, we chain 3 for round 5, and we put 2 double crochet in the space at the base of the chain, followed by a chain 1, and we'll cluster in the following space as well. There's 2 and 3. Now from here, we need to increase in this next space. So that's 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, followed by a chain 1, and 3 more double crochet. There's 1, there's 2, and 3, followed by a chain 1. So the repeat for the rest of this round is to cluster in each of the next 2 spaces, increase in the following space, cluster in each of the next 2, increase, cluster, increase, cluster, increase, and then we'll be at the end of our round. So go ahead and continue this round and join me when you're ready for the next one. I continued around my circle, and remember that was cluster, cluster, increase, cluster, cluster, increase, cluster, cluster, increase, all the way around. So I just finished with an increase in this last chain space, and I'm ready to join. So slip stitch in the top of that 3rd chain of the turning chain, slip stitch in each of the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, slip stitch into the next space while also changing color. So now I'm going to come down here and grab my yellow. So now I've got my yellow here, yarn over, and I'm going to pull through those 2 loops. So at the end of round 5, we should have 20 total clusters. Let's give it a quick count, make sure we're on the right track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Wonderful. So we are right on track. So rounds 6 through 10 continue in this way. Most of the rounds will be increases, but rounds 7 and 10, you just work evenly around. I'm going to continue on my piece here. I'd like you to continue through round 9 and join me back here for round 10, and we'll do it together. For the sake of this demo, I'm making a much smaller sample. So at this point, you should have 9 rounds. As you can see, I only have 7 because I'm going a little bit smaller. But both of us are going to move into round 10. So I've already completed my join. And here in round 10, we're not going to be increasing. we're just going to be placing clusters in each chain space. So we're going to start with the chain 3. There's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to put 2 more double crochet in the same place as that starting chain. And from here, we're going to chain 1 and go into the next chain space and put a cluster. There's 2 and 3. Next chain space gets a cluster. So here in round 10 is when we stop doing our increases. We've increased as far as we need to go for our bag. And 3, chain 1. So we're going to continue to cluster in each chain space around, and meet me here when you're ready for round 11. I'm just finishing up my round 10. It'll be round 10 on yours, but round 8 for me. But I am working round 10 in the pattern. I'm going to finish up with my join. So insert into the top of the turning chain for a slip stitch each of the next 2 stitches. There's 1, there's 2, and insert into the next stitch. Now we're going to grab our next color, yarn over, and pull it through. Now, so far, we've been putting chain 1 spaces between all of our clusters. From here, we're just going to be working evenly. So now we're working the sides of our bags as opposed to the bottom. Instead of putting a chain space here, we're just going to work in the space between clusters from now on. So to start this round, which is round 11, we're going to chain 3 and put 2 double crochet into our next space. Now we're not going to put a chain 1 after this. These are no longer clusters as written in the pattern. Instead, we're just going to jump right into our next chain 1 space, which is here, and put 3 double crochet there. There's 1, 2, and 3. Let's head to the next space and put 3 double crochet here. There's 1, 2, and 3. Going straight into the next space for 3. 1, 2, 3. And into the next space for 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to continue in that way, working 3 double crochet into each chain space around, and we're not going to put any chain spaces in between. You're going to do that until you have 29 total rounds. I would recommend popping a stitch marker here just to help you count so you don't have to count from the bottom every time, but it's totally up to you. So continue this until you have the entire body of your bag completed all the way through round 29. And join me here when you're ready for side A. I continued working on my sample, so let's just pretend mine is the same size as yours and I've worked all the way up to that row 29 there in the body. Now we can move on to side A. And what that's going to set us up for are the handles of our bag. So essentially what we have so far is just kind of up to here on our bag, and we're going to start decreasing on the sides here to make the setup for our handles. So let's do that together. So I just finished my slip stitch. I'm going to complete my join and change to my next color. So the slip stitch is complete, going into the next space for a slip, or the next stitch rather, for a slip stitch, slip in the next stitch, and now I'm ready to change color. So I'm going to grab my next color here, yarn over, and pull through. Now we're going to continue with our color changes throughout this section, but we're going to start working in rows instead of rounds. So now I need to fasten off my other 2 colors. So I'm going to fasten off my yellow, leaving a tail long enough to weave in later. And I'm going to fasten off my cream, also leaving a long tail. And I'm going to just leave my pink attached for now. So reinserting my hook here, we'll get those tails out of the way. There we go. Now we're going to move on to row 1, which has us on the right side. So this correct side that we're looking at for side A. First step, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to double crochet 2 together over this current space and the next space. Here's how we do that. So we're going to yarn over our hook, pull up a loop in the same space as the chain, and then yarn over and pull through 2 of those loops. And then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop in the next space. Then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. We've got 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 of those loops to complete the double crochet 2 together. Now we're going to double crochet in this space here. So the second space of our double crochet 2 together. So what we've essentially done is a decrease. There are 3 total double crochets worked over 2 spaces. Now we're going to place 3 double crochet in each of the next 6 spaces. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. We're going to put 3 double crochets into each of those. Here we go. So here's the first space. Gets 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Next space, here's 2, 3. Next space, here's the third group, 2, 3. Now we've got the fourth group, 1, 2, 3. Now we've got the fifth group, 1, 2, 3. And we've got the sixth group, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give that a quick count, make sure I've got it right. Alrighty, I've got my 6 groups, but I'm going to do a quick count just to make sure I've got everything. So here was my set with the double two tog and another double. So now I need 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got them all. Now let's move on. We're going to double crochet into the next space. And then we're going to follow that with a double crochet 2 together over the current space and the following space. So here's the first step. Then we'll yarn over, pull up a loop in the next space, yarn over, pull through 2 for that step, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. We're going to finish that off with a double crochet in the second space right there. So now this becomes 3 double crochets worked over 2 spaces. At this point, we want to change color, so I'm actually going to drop my hook out. I'll just drop my hook out and do that double crochet again and stop when I have 2 loops left on my hook and I need to move to my next color. After pink comes cream, which I have right here, leaving a nice long tail. I'm going to yarn over and pull through. And at this point, I need to turn my work. So I'm going to start with a chain 3, which counts as my first double crochet, and turn my work. Ignore these markers that I have in here. These are just teacher notes. Don't worry about those. All right, so now we're moving on to row 2, and it says that it's worked on the wrong side. We're looking at the wrong side, so we're in the right spot. So we've chained 3. We're going to skip the first 3 double crochet group, which is this right here, and we're going to place 3 double crochet in the next space 7 times. So we're skipping this space. We're going to start with a 3 double crochet group right in that space. So there's 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do that 7 times. So there's 1, here's 2, no chain space in between, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, here's 6, and here's 7. There's 1, 2, 3. Last step is to double crochet in the top of the turning chain, which is right here. It's that starting chain 3 that we had. So I'm just going to slip under 2 bars of that chain and place a double crochet. Just like that. And we will need to change color. So I'm going to stop now that I have 2 loops left, and I'm going to yarn over with my yellow. I'm just going to drop that cream strand on the inside of my work, grab my yellow, leaving a tail long enough to weave in later, coming over and through. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to leave this cream attached just like I left my pink attached down here, because we're going to continue to change color every row. So now I'm turning my work and we can move on to row 3. So row 3, we're going to skip the first 3 together group, which is here. And then we're going to work 3 double crochets into the next space 6 times. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each of these spaces between groups is going to get 3 double crochets. So we're skipping this first set of 3 double crochets going into the space next to it. There's one set of 3 double crochets. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. Here's 5. And 6. From here, we need to double crochet in the top of the turning chain, which is right here. So these are those 3 double crochets, and just to the left of it is our turning chain. So we're going to grab a couple loops of that top chain and complete a double crochet here. We will need to change color, so I'm going to my pink. Now my pink is already attached to my project, so I'm just gonna untangle it and pull up that loop right here. Don't worry about being able to see that float. We're going to add a border, so we're going to encase that float later. So don't worry about that. Pull up the loop, and now we chain 3, and we're going to turn our work. So rows 4 and 5 are similar to the last 2 we did. We're going to skip these 3, work 3 double crochet into each of the spaces, and then double crochet in top of the turning chain. So complete rows 4 and 5. Join me when you're done. We'll fasten off together and move on to side B. I just completed row 4, and now I'm ready for row 5 of side A. So I now have the right side of my work facing. I start with my chain 3 after I did my color change, and I'm going to put 2 double crochet in the space at the base of the chain. So that's right here. So we've got 1 and 2 double crochet. So we make a 3 double crochet group. Now we're going to put 3 double crochets in each of these spaces. There are 4 of them. So here's 1. Here's 2. Three. And 4. We're going to place 2 double crochet into this turning chain space. So here's the turning chain. We're going to go in the space right before it and put 2 double crochet. There's 1 and 2, and then double crochet in the top of the turning chain. You just might have to move those double crochets out of the way and place a double crochet here. So now we should have 6 total 3 double crochet groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wonderful. And at this point, we're going to fasten off all of our colors. So again, making sure you leave a tail long enough to weave in the ends later. Let's just fasten off all of our colors. Well done. Pull that loop up and out. So here's what we accomplished just now. We essentially made this tab here, and the curve that's happening is going to hold on to our handles. We still got a good ways to go, but we've got side A done. Now to get to side B with the right side facing, we're going to go to the end of side A row 1. So side A row 1 is the end of this pink row right here. This is the first row where we did the double crochet 2 together to do a decrease for this cluster. So from here, we're going to skip 7 unworked spaces. So this is a worked space. And starting here, we're going to count to 7. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then with the next color in the sequence, we're going to slip stitch in the following space. So not in that 7th space, but in the space after that. So since my piece is much smaller than yours, I've marked the space that I'm going to pick up in, but make sure you count from the unworked space. We're going to begin here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my first stitch would go into this space. That's where I would join. But I'm going to join in this marked space because I don't have as much space as you. We're going to pick up with color A into the designated space. So for me, it's going to be right here. So I'm just going to insert my hook there just to mark it for me. And we're going to slip stitch into this space. So I've got my hook inserted already. I'm going to yarn over with that new color, pull up a loop. And then from here, I'm going to repeat rows 1 through 5 from side A. Just as a quick reminder, row 1 starts with a chain 3, 2, 3, and then we double crochet 2 together over the current space and the next space. 1, 2 steps for that double crochet 2 together, 3 loops left on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then we double crochet into the next stitch. So from here, you're going to make this side mirror this side. So you're following the exact same instructions from side A here on side B, and they're going to line up just like this. Okay, so there's the first stitch, and there was the first stitch on side A, or the last stitch really on side A matches up with the first stitch from side B. So you're going to make 2 identical little flaps here that are going to hold onto your straps. So I'm going to finish my side B here. Join me when you are ready to make the border. Now that we've completed both side A and B, we're gonna add a border to the whole top of our bag. The reason we do that is because we need an anchor for the additional tabs that we're gonna put here at the top, as well as our straps. So we're going to join with a standing single crochet in the side of any double crochet. And what I mean by that is any of these double crochets right here. So joining here would be in the top of double crochets. No, we want to join in the side of double crochets. So I'm going to start actually right down here. That's just what feels good to me. You can start up here on the side, here, wherever you want to. Honestly, do whatever you want. So to make the straps, you're going to be using your color C. I only have so much yarn left, so I'm going to be using this color just to make sure you can see it really well. I'm going to make a slip knot and place that on my hook. And here's how we'll do that standing single crochet. I'm going to grab the double crochet I'm going to start with, which is this one right here. I need to place 2 single crochets around this double crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook under that stitch, holding on to this loop that's on my hook, yarn over, pull up the loop. We now have 2 loops on our hook. We'll yarn over and pull through both of those loops, and we now have our standing single crochet. I'm just going to scoot that down a little and place another single crochet here. So we want to put 2 single crochets into each double crochet. So the next double crochet is here, and it gets 2 singles. The next double crochet is here, and it's going to get 2 singles. You'll notice that I'm grabbing the floats behind as well, just to make sure everything is nice and neat. 2 singles around this double crochet, and 2 singles around this double crochet. Now I'm not going to chain one or anything as I turn this corner. Instead, I'm just going to jump right into this double, and I'm going to place a single, and I'm going to do that across. So every double crochet, whenever you're working in the tops of your double crochets, those get 1 single crochet, and we're going to work across until we're working into the sides of double crochets again. So 1 single crochet into each of these double crochets. Almost there. 1 and 2. I'm now at this last double crochet. Instead of working in the top of it, I'm just going to go directly into the side of it and put 2 single crochets. And now I'm going to do that for each of these double crochets down the line here. So 2 single crochets around this stitch. I'm going to not miss this double crochet here, and I'm going to place 2 single crochets there, 2 around the white, again grabbing the float, 2 around this pink here. And now I'm getting into the tops of my stitches. So I'm going to place a single crochet. Just remember that this double crochet does have a top, so we can go into it here. And single across. Just like that. And since we don't have spaces between our groups, since we don't have chain 1 spaces, we're just placing 1 single crochet in the top of each double crochet. You're going to repeat this all the way around. So I'm back on the side of my double crochets. Each one gets 2 singles. And we're just going to continue this all the way around the whole top of your bag. So you get this nice clean edge that will make it way easier to add our straps and our tabs here at the top. So continue all the way around your bag, and we're going to join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet of the round. And then we're going to move on to making our tabs. My border is now all done. I completed it all the way around the top of my bag, and I joined with a slip stitch here. And then I weaved my ends into the back so you can't see them. So now we're moving on to our tabs. So here's what I mean by tabs. So your tabs are this cute little extra tab of color right here at the top of your double crochets. So we've got our clusters here. This is the tab, and this will essentially be added here, just as another cute little detail here at the top of the bag. So let's make it together. We are going to employ a little bit of Tunisian crochet, but do not be scared. I will walk you through it, and you don't even need a different hook than the one that we've been working with. We can work with the same exact hook, no problem. So first things first, we need to identify the center 16 stitches here at the top of the tab. So I'm going to bring you a little bit closer so we can find those together. So if we look here, remember we placed a single crochet in each of the double crochets here at the top. So if we just look at these center clusters in the middle, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, right? We need 16 total. So there's 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So we're going to grab the single crochets in the top of 2 double crochets on either side of these 3 double crochet groups. So I have a couple of locking stitch markers here. This step is not necessary, but it just helps me to not have to remember exactly where to go. So I'm going to place a marker in the single crochet here in the top of this double crochet. So this double crochet right here, I'm marking the single crochet above it, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Mark the single crochet in the top of that double crochet. So I'm going to give this a quick count just to make sure I have all 16 of my stitches. So starting with my marked stitch here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 is this marked stitch. So I am in the right spot. Wonderful. So now I'm going to grab my first color, which is going to be A, which is my pink, and I'm going to pull up a loop in that first stitch because I'm going to be working in this direction because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch. I can now drop my marker if you happen to have put one in there, and I'm going to pull up a loop in my A color, leaving a tail long enough to weave in later. So pull that loop up. Now from here, I need to chain 8. So yarn over, pull through for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's 7 and 8, just like that. So from here, I need to pull up a loop in the second chain from the hook in each of the remaining chains. Now, since this is Tunisian crochet, I do like to work in the bumps on the back of my work here. So I'm going to pull up a loop in this second bump right here. So here's my first, here's my second chain. I'm going to insert under that bump, yarn over, and pull up a loop. There's 1, 2, so I've got 3 loops on my hook. Pull up a loop in this next one, makes 4. We should have 8 loops on our hook by the end. There's 5, 6, here's 7. Definitely putting those nails to work to help us grab those loops. And there's 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got all my loops. Wonderful. Now from here, I need to pull up a loop in the stitch at the base of the chain. So this is the stitch where we joined. So it's the same stitch where we joined. We're going to pull up a loop. I'm just going to tighten this down. I'm going to go right into that same stitch where we joined, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So we now have 9 loops on our hook. From here, we need to do the return pass. So we're going to work these loops off the hook. So we'll start by yarning over our hook and pulling through the next 2 loops, just like that, until we have 2 loops left on our hook because we are going to change color. There we go. So there's our first row complete. We can now drop this color and we're going to grab our next color. We're going to continue in the same sequence we've been working in our bag. So I'm going to cream next after pink. I'm going to yarn over my hook, leaving a tail long enough to weave in later. And now I'm going to simple stitch across the row. So I already have 1 loop on my hook. So we're skipping this very first vertical bar right here. We're going to grab this next vertical bar here. I'm going to insert my hook from right to left under that bar, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to do that for each stitch across the row until I have 8 total loops on my hook. So there's 2. Here's 3. Get that pink out of the way. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 more right here makes 8. From here, I need to pull up a loop in the next single crochet of the row. So this is the single crochet that we've worked in already. We'll find the next single crochet is right here. So I'm going to insert, yarn over, and pull up that loop. And now I have 9 loops on my hook, and I can do my return pass, yarn over, pull through 2 and 2 and 2, again until we have 2 loops left on the hook, and we're going to change color again. We're going to use all 3 of our colors in this lovely sequence. Leaving a tail long enough to weave in, we'll yarn over and pull up the loop. Skip this very first vertical bar, we'll find the next vertical bar, insert from right to left, yarn over, pull up a loop for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then we're going to anchor it by pulling up a loop in the next single crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2 and 2 and 2 until you got 1 loop left on the hook. Now we're going to change color again, go into the pink. It's still attached, we'll just leave it there. Yarn over, pull up the loop, 1 loop on the hook. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here's 8. Anchor it, pull up a loop in the next stitch, 9 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. And we're going to repeat this for each of the single crochets across to our next marker. So there will be 16 total rows of this Tunisian simple stitch, and we're changing color every row. So continue that until you reach the end of this sequence, and I'll show you how we'll bind off. I finished working my tab all the way across. I know I did it right because my last join was in the same place as my marker. Again, if you have markers, this is helpful, but otherwise you can just count across 16 rows. So at this point, I want to slip stitch in each stitch across the row to bind off. Again, I'm skipping this very first vertical bar here, and I'm going to start with this second vertical bar. So I'm going to insert into that stitch, yarn over, pull through the stitch, as well as the other loop that's on my hook. And I'm going to do that for each stitch across. Pull through the stitch and through the loop on your hook to complete a slip stitch. We're going to do that all the way across. We're going to do that all the way across and finish up with a slip stitch in the same single crochet at the base of this row. Just like that. Now we want to fasten off, leaving a 10-inch tail. So that's just a recommendation, but just leave a nice long tail for seaming so we can pull this loop up and out. And now we need to fasten off the other colors as well, and we just need to leave enough of a tail to weave those in later, just like that. Now I can drop this marker out, and we're going to weave in these other ends because we need to get them out of the way. So take a moment and weave in those ends. I will be right back. Ends are now weaved in, and we need to assemble our tab. And essentially what that means is we're going to fold this in half with the right side facing out, and we're going to seam the bottom of our tab to the insides of these single crochets here. So you'll want to grab your tapestry needle and thread that long end onto your tapestry needle. I'm going to fold this in half, and we had 16 joins, so we have 16 stitches to join to. So my first step is I'm going to come up through that stitch, and I'm going to grab the end of this row. I'm just grabbing the 2 loops of the slip stitch and pull. So there's the start. And now I'm just going to whip stitch these ends to these single crochets. Let me see if I can get you a little closer. So we've got our pink row attached. So let's grab our next row, which is this yellow. And I can find the yellow anchor stitch down here. So I'm just going to grab a bit of that single crochet that's just in front of it, right here, and pull through. Now we can grab the next one, which is this white stitch. We'll find the single crochet it's anchored to and insert and pull through. We want to make sure this is nice and snug so it doesn't lift up, but we can continue to whip stitch this entire edge. Just a couple more stitches to seam here. I've got this cream stitch, and my last one is this pink stitch. And I'm gonna grab a couple loops since this is here on the edge, just to make sure that's really secure. You know what? I'm gonna go back through it one more time because it makes me feel better. There we go. So now we've got a nice knot here and we've assembled our tab. I think it just adds a really nice finish to the top of our stitches and gives us a beautiful anchor for our strap, which will come up the side here. So now we need to weave in this end. There we go. And fasten off. There we are. Now that we've completed the tab on this side, you can go ahead and complete the same exact instructions on the other side. So complete your other tab and join me back here when you're ready to work the straps. Now that we've completed our tabs, everything's sewn down, we have our last step, which is the straps. We're going to be putting a separate strap on either side. At this point, you need to determine which side is going to be the front and the back of your bag. So when you lay your tabs on top of each other like this could be the front or this could be the front. Totally depends on you. And the only thing that's going to decide the front and the back is the join that you're going to create for the straps. If you join here and end here, there's going to be a little bit of a bump at the seam. So then the other side should be the front. So totally up to you which side you want to be the front. They are identical at this point, so you can pick whichever side you want. I'm going to determine that this is going to be the back and this is going to be the front of my bag. So I'm going to start my first strap right down here. You'll want to kind of start in the groove here. It just hides the join a little bit better. Okay, so first things first, we're going to grab whatever color we're planning to use, and we're going to join this time. Instead of grabbing both loops here at the top of the stitch, we're going to grab the back loop and the third loop of the single crochet. So this is the color I'm going to be using. I'm going to get you in a little bit tighter here so we can identify that back loop and the third loop of our single crochet. So if we look at a single crochet stitch, let's say we're taking this one right here. So these are the two legs of the stitch. Yeah. And then it's got a little hat, and that hat has two bars. It has a front bar and it has a back bar. Now we're going to be grabbing the back bar, but we also need to grab the third loop of that stitch. So if we fold it down, here's the back bar, the third loop is right here. So we're going to be grabbing both of these loops at the same time to anchor our stitches. What that's going to do is going to leave this front bar open to just be a nice decorative edge, and it's also going to make sure our straps are very secure to our bag. So once you decide where you're planning to join, we're going to join in that back loop and third loop of any single crochet here. So I'm going to say I'm going to start right here. This is going to be my first stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop and into the third loop. And this is where I really get my nails involved to grab that third loop. And then I'm going to yarn over, leaving a tail long enough to weave in later, and pull up that loop. From here, I need to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm pulling up loops in the second chain from the hook in each remaining chain across. So here's the bump of the first chain. Here's the bump of the second chain. Insert into that bump, yarn over, pull up the loop, and do that for each bump down the line. And you should have 8 loops on your hook by the time we finish this step. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. 5, 6, 7, and one more makes 8. Then from here, we need to anchor this just like we did before, but we're going to pull up in the same back loop and third loop where we started, right there, and pull up that loop. So we now have 9 loops on our hook. Well, then yarn over, pull through 2 and 2 and 2 again. This time we're going to stop when we have 1 loop left on the hook because we're going to be using the same color throughout. So now we've got 1 loop on our hook, and we're going to continue across all of these single crochets here, just like we were doing when we completed our tab. So remember, we've got 1 loop on our hook. We're going to pull up a loop in each of these vertical bars. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we're going to find the back loop and third loop of this next stitch to anchor. So I'm going to insert into that back loop and use my nail to coax that third loop onto my hook right there. So now I have both of them. Pull up the loop, 9 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 and 2 and 2 again, until you have one loop left on the hook. One more row together, okay? First loop on the hook counts as our first stitch, so we skip this very first vertical bar. We're going to pull up a loop in the next vertical bar. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Find our next single crochet right here. We're going to grab the back loop and the third loop of that stitch. I've got them both. Yarn over and pull up the loop. Then yarn over, pull through 2 and 2 and 2 again. Just like that. So we've got this nice little ridge happening at the base of our rows, and that's just going to add a nice decorative touch on our bag. So continue all the way up these single crochets. Join me when you get to the edge of this tab here, and I'll show you what to do. Alrighty, friends, we have made it to our tab here. So I've worked all of my single crochets across the row. It looks so lovely, and it's going to make for a nice sturdy strap. Now we need to work across these tabs. So we're going to anchor to our tab here, and I'm going to show you how we do that. So we're going to work across the row just like we've been doing before, pulling up a loop in the second stitch and each remaining stitch until we have 8 total loops on our hook. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we need to work across this tab, and we're going to anchor to this tab 3 total times for 3 rows. So for the first row, I'm going to grab these 2 stitches right here at the base. So I'm going to grab the first one. I'm not worrying about getting into that third loop. I'm just grabbing loops of those stitches, and I'm going to pull up through that stitch. Now yarn over, pull through 2 and 2 and 2 until we've got 1 loop left on the hook. So there's the first row anchored to the tab. Let's go for our second one. So pulling up our loops to work across our row, there's 4 bars, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we're going to grab our next couple of stitches along our tab. I just want to make sure I get through both thicknesses of the tab. This is more of an art than a science at this point. So we just need to anchor 3 times. So that was our second time. And let's go in for our third time. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to grab just a few more loops, again making sure we get through both thicknesses of the tab. Pull through for 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Just like that. Beautiful. Now we've worked completely across our tab. At this point, we need to make the actual drop of the handle, so the open piece. So far, we've been attaching to our bag. Now we're going to go into the free area of our handle. And once we've worked across our tab, we need to do 70 total rows for our handle at this point. So I'm going to work across my row. So I've got 1 loop on my hook already. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's 8. There we go. And I'm going to pull up in my edge stitch right here. I'm grabbing 2 loops of that very last edge stitch. So let me get you a little bit closer so you can really see what I'm talking about. So if you take a look at the last stitch that we anchored to our bag, if we tilt this to the top, we can see that there are 2 little bars here at the top of that stitch. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to grab the 2 little bars right at the top of that stitch, and that's going to be my last stitch here. I'm going to pull through 1 loop to begin that return pass, and then yarn over and pull through 2 from here. So since we're no longer anchoring to a stitch, we need to yarn over and pull through 1 loop to start our return pass first. So that is the first of our 70 rows for our handle. Let's do another row together. Pull up a loop in the next stitch. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 6, 7, and 8. And now for our last stitch, we need to grab these 2 little bars here on the side. So I'm using the tip of my hook to grab both of those bars, yarn over and pull through a loop. And now we're working over 9 stitches for our strap. So pull through 1 to start the return pass, then yarn over, pull through 2, 2, and 2. Again, until you have 1 loop left on the hook. Okay, so you can see how we've now built off of the tab to begin working our strap. Let's do one more row together. Pull up a loop in that second vertical bar. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we're going to pull up a loop in the 2 loops of our edge stitch. Yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over and pull through the stitch. Yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2, 2, 2, and 2. So we're going to continue this until we have 70 total rows. The easiest way to count this is going to be starting with this little V here at the side. So this is row 1, here's 2, and 3. So we've got 3 of 70 so far. So continue in this way until you have 70 total rows. And then at that point, back you up a little so we can really see the bigger picture. So once you have your 70 rows here, we're then going to come and grab stitches here to continue working the rest of our strap. So we'll have a strap that goes around the entirety of this side of the bag. So continue until you have 70 total rows here, and then I'll show you how we'll pick up along our tab on the other side. Now let's pretend that this strap is a full 70 rows long. It's much shorter than that, but this is a demo. We got this. So now we need to flip our bag, and we're going to attach the handle to the other side of the tab to work on completing this side of this handle. So we need to attach to this tab in 3 different places, just like we did to the previous tab. So my first step is to work across the row. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm now going to skip this last stitch because the 9th stitch is where we attach to our tab. So first step is to grab a little piece of the tab right at the top. Remember, we need to grab 3 places so you can kind of take a look, and you can see we've kind of got 3 distinct places to join. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start here at the top, making sure I make it through both thicknesses, yarn over, and I'm going to pull through that loop. Then I can yarn over, pull through 2, 2, and 2 again until I've got 1 loop left on the hook. So there's the first row to join. Here's the second. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now join to the tab. So I'm going to grab the next stitch and make sure again I'm getting through both thicknesses, just like that. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and 2, and 2, until we've got that 1 loop left. One more time here on the tab. So we're going to pull up that loop. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 more makes 8. And connect through both thicknesses here. So here's one side, and here's the other side. Come on, nope. Get those nails involved. There we go. Nice and secure. Yarn over, pull through 2, and 2, and 2 again. Now we've made our way across, and we're now attached to the tab. So from here, we're going to continue working in our simple stitch, and we're going to start with picking up along this single crochet here. So I'm going to work across my row. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we're going to head down to this single crochet. We've got one right here. We're going to grab the back loop and the 3rd loop of that single crochet, just like we've been doing before. There we go. Nice strong join. And pull through, yarn over, pull through for 2, and 2, and 2. We'll do one more row together because we're just picking up the same sequence that we had on the other side of our bag. So we're going to pull up loops until we have 8 on our hook across the strap. I believe that's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more here. Makes for 8. And then we're going to find the next single crochet that's open right here. We're going to grab the back loop and the third loop, just like that, and pull through. Yarn over, pull through for 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. So our next step is to continue all the way around this opening. So these are all single crochet stitches, and we want to keep working our strap, picking up each of these stitches to create our additional rows. Once you make it right back here, join me. I'll show you how to bind off, and then we'll put it all together. Fast forward an hour or so, and we've completed the rest of the rows for our strap. So we've connected to the second tab and worked all the way along until we've reached the start of our strap. So at this point, we're going to bind off. So I'm going to insert my hook, bring you a little closer so we can really see this. Here we go. So we've got all these live loops, and by live loops, I mean we've got spaces between our stitches, between those vertical bars. So now we need to close those off so we can then attach it to the beginning of our strap. So what we're going to do is, again, skipping this very first vertical bar, we're going to grab that next vertical bar, inserting from right to left, yarn over and pull up a loop in that stitch, but also pull up a loop in the remaining loop that's on the hook, just like that. So we're going to slip stitch each vertical bar across, just like this. Insert, yarn over, pull through both loops. Insert, yarn over, pull through both loops, all the way down. One more here. And we're going to finish with a slip stitch in the same stitch that we anchored this row to. So where we did our slip stitches to anchor this to the bag, we'll finish there. And then we're going to leave a pretty long tail, as long of a tail as you can accommodate. Just like that. Then we're going to pull this loop up and out of the work. There we go. So now we need to connect these two short ends first. So we're going to start seaming our strap closed. So I'm going to thread this onto a tapestry needle, and then I'm just going to whip stitch these ends together. So starting right here at the base of where my tail is, I'm going to grab those next two loops and pull through. Next stitch and the corresponding stitch at the start of the row. And we're just going to continue whip stitching across. And I'm going to put one more loop here just for good measure. There we go. So now our whip stitch is complete. And the last step that we need to do on this side is we're going to now fold this flap of fabric in on itself, just like this. So we're going to have these free ends meet up with the ends that are attached to the bag, just like we did with our tabs here. And starting right here at the seam, we're going to begin whip stitching them together. So I'm going to turn this so the inside is facing me, and your strap is going to be way longer, so it'll be easier to see this. I'm just going to insert here. Let's find a nice couple of loops to anchor it to, and then we're going to find the end of the seam on the other side. Here we go, right here. And I'm just going to grab a few loops right there at the base. And it's going to bring these two ends together, just like this. And now from here, just going to tuck this end in. So we won't really need to weave it. We can just tuck it into the middle of our strap. So from here, I'm just going to grab a stitch from the live end and a stitch from the anchor here on the base of the bag, and start whip stitching these together. Just like this. And you want to make sure that you're stitching stitch for stitch so that everything ends up lining up. So I'm just whip stitching it closed, just like this. So I'm grabbing the next stitch and the next stitch and pulling those two sides together. Grab the next stitch and the next stitch on the base and pull through. So you can see we're creating this channel this looped handle, and we're going to repeat this all the way around. So join me when you're done with that, and I'll show you mine, and then you can see if it looks like yours. I've got just a few stitches to go here. There's one, here's two, and one more right here. Just kind of grabbing a few loops to make sure that's very secure. So take your time here. There we go. And as I pull it through this last loop, I'm going to take the tail and loop it over the needle to create a knot. So now that's nice and secure. Now we'll just want to weave in this end, a few stitches this way. And again, want to make sure it's secure, so I'm going to go back the other way as well and pull it through. And now we can fasten off. Now let's take a look at our work. We've only done one side so far, but here's what we've got. Your strap will obviously be a lot longer, but it's going to loop around, grab both of those tabs. So you're going to have a strap on this side and you want to repeat it for the other side. Now, when it comes to finishing this strap, you can see it's a little poofy. It's a little bulky. What I like to do is just kind of give this a good stretch, a good tug, and it's going to help the strap not only lay flat, but it's going to flatten out any twists and turns that you have in the handle. Even that, I think, looks a whole lot better than it did just now. So give it a good stretch. These handles are very sturdy, so they're only going to go so far, so you don't have to worry about them stretching out. But if you really want to give it a good steam block, I would recommend that as well. I wouldn't steam block the bag. I think bags work better and maintain their sturdiness when they are not steamed and not blocked. But I would give a little bit of steam to the handle just to allow that to soften up a bit. So at this point, you'll want to repeat these same exact instructions over on this side, weave in any remaining ends, and steam block your bag however you would like to. But when it is all said and done, you will have a gorgeous camellia bag. Thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial, and I can't wait to see your project.